Hi friends! Today we're talking all about kitchen. Now if you have a small kitchen that's like mine, but you still care about how it looks, I made this video for you guys. Kitchens are weirdly one of the hardest places to style and make feel homey just because it's so utilitarian. Stainless steel appliances, everything is out on display. All your functional items need to be accessible. So today I want to share with you guys a couple of my kitchen must-haves surrounding tools, organizers, small appliances, basically a rundown of all of my personal kitchen favorites that have helped me make my kitchen feel homey and cute, and maybe it'll help you too. I just want to preface that none of the stuff I'm about to show you is groundbreaking, but they're also not expensive. So this is just to trigger some simple inspiration for things you can introduce to your kitchen without breaking the bank. Also, I hope you all don't mind. There might be some scene discontinuity because some of this footage was filmed like 8 months apart from each other. I try to keep up the pretense by wearing the same outfit, but hopefully you guys will forgive me and it won't ruin your viewing experience. All right guys, welcome to my stove area. Let's get into the first category of useful tools I have around my kitchen that help me to hold things. This little zone was disappointingly small, and usually next to your stove is when you've got all the action going on. You want to have room to do your chopping, you want to have room to like put your bowls and your spatula and everything, and I didn't have that much space. This is all I had. So one of the additions that was a game changer in this area, wall mountable pot lid holders. These are just attached to the tile on the backsplash by adhesive, and they've got this little fun little winged look, and they just kind of hug your little pot lids on the wall. So the pain point I was struggling with before is that as I was cooking, I'd have my pots and stuff here, and then my lids would be like, there would be no place for them to go, and they would just take so much space. And if I'm running 3 burners, there's nowhere for this guy to sit, and I've got like vegetables and other things here. But now, as I'm cooking, if I don't need to use the lid until later, I just plop it on the wall. It just uses vertical wall space, which doesn't take up your cooking surface. Some of you might remember these little hooks from my studio tour video because they kept falling off throughout the entire video. What was I even talking about? What are those? I haven't had time to nail these into the wall yet. I fell in love with these little wooden pegs immediately. I think they're normally used for like coats, but I have them mounted onto my kitchen wall because I wanted a place where I can hold my apron. I love that they have different shapes, and it's become actually the perfect place for me to store my oven mitt, because previously this would just be sitting on my countertop, and the more items I can keep off my countertop while keeping it accessible, the happier I am, because counter space is a high value commodity in small kitchens. Okay, hey friends, we are on the floor now. Welcome. One of the biggest pain areas in a kitchen is the storage underneath your sink. This is typically where you either keep your trash can, your recycling, your compost. So let me show you the situation I have under my sink. I'm not saying I'm very proud of this whole situation, but I do have a couple of things that might help you with your organization under your sink. First and foremost, I have this 2-story storage shelf that has a sliding bottom. So what I've done is on the top portion, I've got all of my dishwasher tablets, squeegee, extra rags, doggy poop bags for all the dogs that I've been taking care of. And in the bottom, this little nice slidey outy compartment has storage for all of my soaps, power wash Dawn spray. It's so fun. It sprays in like this foam, and the grime becomes so much easier to scrub off from your dishes. And before I had this, I wish I had a video for you guys, but the underside of this area was just a mess. Things were piling on top of each other. So what I find is really useful is whenever you can, leverage your use of vertical space. The more levels you can add, the more organization you can add. So there's that. The rest of it, not too important. On this left side, I usually just have a paper bag to keep my paper recycling. That way when I go downstairs to recycling, I just grab this whole thing and just throw it in the paper recycling area. And then on my other side, I've got all of my plastic recycling, and I just use a Shoppers Drug Mart bag for that. It's just really easy. There's handles, and so when it's time to take it down, I just grab it and I go. On this side, I've got these 2 cute little flower bud, I don't know what they call these, but they're like these little squish hooks. I use them to hold my rags, and it's such an easy way to just grab when I'm like in when I'm busy washing the dishes. These just squeeze into this rubber bit like that, like so. And it makes it so easy because most of your rags they're just too small to hang like on a hook and hang on a rail. So this little thing, it's genius. And it's so easy to plop in, and it's pretty damn cute too. My other door is leveraged quite a bit to hold a couple different items. So sometimes we forget that you can hang things on these little bad boys. I've got one of these little plastic baskets. They're super light. Again, just held on by double-sided 3M, I believe. It's just my storage for magic sponges in here, some quick dry towels for spills, and then my gloves for when I wash the dishes. I have these little hooks. They're angular. You can attach a double-sided tape on the back here, stick it to the back of your door, and I found it's been a perfect place for me to hang some of my sponges. But not only that, my most readily used all-purpose cleaner just hangs right here off the side of this door, so that when I'm standing and I'm cleaning the kitchen, it's as easy as just opening this door, grabbing, and then plopping it right back like that. Just wanted to make a quick call out here that recently one of the biggest things that have helped me make my kitchen function so well is that I've been 3D printing my own organizers. This tea organizer was 3D printed, oh my gosh, on my Bambu Labs. It's meant to actually be able to sit on your counter. You can fill these compartments up with some of your favorite teas, and it serves as like a nice, easy dispenser in the morning. Instead of having your teas just all in disarray in a drawer, I have it right next to my kettle, so I can just grab some of my favorite teas in the morning and brew myself a tea bag. This also command stripped to my wall. It comes with 2 mounting holes in case you want to secure it to the wall, but since I'm renting, I just have it on command strips and I just plop it right there. It's at the perfect spot for me to grab and go whenever I need. Heck, if I had my 3D printer earlier, I could have even 3D printed these winged pot lid holders for a fraction of the price that I bought them for. And it's like having my own little factory in-house to solve my weirdly specific problems. So if you've ever been curious about getting a 3D printer for yourself, this might be your sign to look into it for realsies. It's so much easier than it was before. Now it's almost become a plug and play toy. Like, I just have it sitting here next to my desk, and I just printed off this Scrub Daddy holder for a friend of mine. Fran, as requested, your own little Scrub Daddy holder with a little drainage hole. Side of stuff for the kitchen, I've also 3D printed just random things for all over my place. This little puffer jacket, pen holder, gifts for friends, decorations. I have a whole video on some of the first things I printed once I got this printer. Link above if you want to check that out. The printer I have is from Bambu Labs. It's their A1C printer. If you guys are all interested in checking it out, I'll leave a link in my description, which helps support this channel. And for those of you who can't invest in a 3D printer, but might live locally in Vancouver and would like any of these like custom prints, just message me. Maybe I can print one off for you. As a little gift.
What are you making again? Is it something like Pokemon Wallet?
No, the Pokédex.
Oh, what's a Pokedex?
Okay, we're back on the floor. I 3D printed this recently. This organizer to hang all of my foils and saran wrap and plastic bags underneath the counter. I can't take it off because I've secured it pretty tightly with 3M. But all it is this rectangular printout that has 3 compartments. And I just use it to hold my boxes of aluminum foil and saran wrap, because before it was like this situation, except tons worse. This is my sink area. I try to keep this area dedicated to only my few essential required items. So right over here, I've got my dish soap and I've got my hand soap. This was actually specifically bought for the Moroccan themed bathroom I did for Robot Man's apartment. This lovely bubble texture that makes it feel so like just a cute grenade in your kitchen. And then I had this other green one that fits right in. I find the stone, because it's so porous, it actually helps soak in the water and the excess little bits of soap goo. Look at this Scrub Daddy holder. This is the one I have in my place. I might print another one that has the pee-pee hole because I love it. Let's see how it looks with the pee-pee holder. That's so cute. Ah, and if it's wet, I guess it's no problem. Oh my god. Oh, sorry, sir. Oh yeah, so Matt and Fran, that's coming for you soon. I'm also printing some off for my other friends too. If you would like to request one and you have a scrub daddy, talk to me. Comment below. This next one is going to be a bit embarrassing just because of how I got this item. So my building has a trash area and sometimes people just leave stuff that they don't want over there. And you all know, if you know me well enough by this point, that I really hate waste and I don't like when things just get thrown out in the landfill. So I rescue items every now and then that are gonna get tossed and I bring them to donation if they're good, if they're still reusable. But yeah, I found this. I think it was part of maybe like an office chair or something. I don't know. It's not, I don't know if it's actually supposed to be a Lazy Susan. But I grabbed it. Let me just try not to drop anything. Oh, it's heavy. It's been a great way for me to maximize the use of this shelving area because you can spin and get two spices behind it and then grab whatever you need without just abandoning and neglecting all the things that end up in the back of your cabinets. If you don't find this in your trash area, not to fear. IKEA sells Lazy Susans. I'm just showing you the benefit of getting one. This is the thing. Oh, this one's called Master Disc from Master Moves. This one doesn't spin like the best, but for all intents and purposes, it does what it needs to do. All right, so I know having all your sharp objects mounted about head height in the wall, completely out in the open, is not gonna be to everyone's taste. When I'm cooking, I want things to be at my fingertips so that I can just grab and go immediately. This magnetic knife mount is my go-to for every single kitchen I go to. You can either screw it into your wall, or in my case, I just use a double-sided adhesive. When you take it off, you just take a hairdryer, heat up the glue, and it should come off without damaging your wall too much. Worst case, you patch it. But this is where I keep my go-to cutting utensils. This is my Japanese German steel chef knife that I love mucho dearly. I've got a ninja throwing star here because sometimes I'll actually have a recipe that I'm working on and I'll be able to just like mount it next to my stove like this. Ah! Another sneaky little place I use for storage is actually the side of my fridge. So my fridge is interesting. Front is not magnetic, but the sides are. So over here I've got mounted my trusty bottle opener that I never ever use because I actually don't like drinking wine. These trusty clips, I believe they're actually for offices, but I use these not only to hang some of my wipes right next to my cooking area, but also when I get my fresh preps, this is where I hold my current active recipes and stuff that I'm gonna be making throughout the week. Another thing about this kitchen being so small is that the drawers I had were only these three guys right here. And they're super narrow, super slim profile. So it was hard for me to actually find a cutlery organizer that was able to fit. But luckily, I was able to find this tiny, like slim cutlery holder. It became the perfect storage solution. For my utensils, you've got compartments that are on diagonals for your spoons. Can I just take a moment to share with you one of my new favorite additions to the kitchen that some of you guys who follow me on Instagram might recognize because I talked about it there. I recently found out that my friend works for a company called Earthly. So I found out all about this product that they make. They're called these not paper towels. And what's beautiful about it is that when you need to use your paper towel, instead of using a paper towel, you just grab one of these little towels. And if you need to wipe your face or clean up a spill, you're not using these disposable single-use paper towels. You're using these soft, colorful, fun towels that you just throw in the wash when you're done with your clothes. And as soon as it's dry, you just roll it back onto your roll. So now I just have the cutest paper towels for when people come over. They have a couple of different colorways. I chose this fresh, juicy, citrusy one because it feels so summery and it kind of goes with my little yellowy vibe in the kitchen. But they also offer this one called Strawberry Fields and then this one called Periwinkle Wings and a bunch more. Definitely recommend checking them out. Honestly, not sponsored for any of the stuff in the kitchen that I'm showing you guys, but I will link everything in the description below. I'll try to track down where I bought most of these things from, but if I can't find it, I'll find an equivalent that you guys can purchase. We're just gonna give a tour of all of my kitchen appliance essentials. Now, I know a lot of people are against the whole thought of having your appliances on your counter, but the problem with me is I think I suffer a mild form of like object impermanence, where if I don't see an item, I forget that I own it, and then I just slowly forget to use it. So out of necessity, I've actually had to kind of keep most of my appliances out on my counter on display so that I know to cook with them and use them. But that is why I put an emphasis on choosing appliances that are both useful but also kind of cute. So let me introduce you to my 3 main powerhouses of the kitchen, and you can admire how cute they are. Starting with my Nutribullet. I use this guy for making all of my smoothies, soups on occasion, and for a while when I first moved in, I had this guy tucked away in one of my cabinets, and for those weeks, I don't think I had a single smoothie because I forgot that I had a blender. Just did not realize that was a thing I could do anymore. Some might remember this little blue cutie from my previous home. This is a Swan kettle, and I just love this baby blue color. And of course, my air fryer. If you are not yet on an air fryer train, what are you doing? You're missing one of the most effective and versatile equipments you could ever have in a kitchen, especially a small kitchen. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I am Asian, and like most Asians, my oven is used for a storage, currently holding my pots and pans. And so if I ever need to bake, it's actually not a problem because I've got my air fryer. This guy has replaced my need to use my oven on, I think, 90% of occasions. It's energy efficient. It has different levels. You know, I think some air fryers have that bucket, and so everything is just on one layer, but mine basically looks like a mini conventional oven. It's been able to replace the use of my oven as well as a toaster, so I love this guy. I haven't decorated him yet. I don't think the kitchen industry has gotten to a point where they are making really cute air fryers yet, but when that time comes, somebody call me. Oh, also funny story, just to illustrate the strife of renting apartments. When I first moved in, this oven was disgusting. It was weeks of me not being able to use my oven because when I first moved in, it was so crisp and crusty and ashy and burnt in there. I think I have footage of when I finally mustered up courage to clean it. I'll just play that.
What the heck you're doing?
I moved in and the oven was like someone burnt a carcass in there. It was caked with burning and it smelled like cancer. And I needed to bake a shepherd's pie for a potluck. I didn't want the shepherd's pie to taste like cancer. So I took this thing apart and I've been just cleaning it for the last 2 days. And for those of you who are curious, I do rent this place. I don't own this kitchen. So all these items and styling things are renter friendly. I have a whole other video on how I turned the kitchen from this original form into what you see behind me. I'll pop a link for that. Okay guys, thank you so much for joining in on this tour. I hope it's given you at least a couple of inspirations for what you can do to make your kitchen a little bit more streamlined, optimize your workflow, make things more accessible while keeping the mess contained. So I will link everything in the description as mentioned. If you have any questions, feel free to message me. I try to reply to every single comment that you guys leave me at this moment while I still have the capacity and I'm still a small creator. So leave me comments down below if you have questions. And thank you guys for inspiring me to do this video because honestly, this video came about from all the questions I had from my studio tour video. So love you much. I hope this shows you that you don't need a huge kitchen or need to spend a lot of money on fancy gizmos to make some positive changes in your space. And I will see you guys next time. I plan to continue this series to other rooms in my studio based on the questions that you sent me. So stay tuned for more. Bye. Oh, and don't forget, subscribe.